45 tomato plants, 1 gallon at a time. Ah, great. One gallon at a time. Man, there has got to be a better way. There is a better way. 1 gallon at a time, it just ain't gonna cut it. Well, I think there is a better way to handle getting compost tea out, and it's going to involve making a compost tea truck. Reaganite Sr. gave me this barrel here to use as a rain barrel, but I think I can repurpose it for making a compost tea truck. I also picked up a flat cart at our local Atwoods. It's kind of like a tractor supply store in our local area. So I'm going to try to make this work here. The first thing I'm going to do is take the sidewalls off of this. There's little pins in here that I can pull these out. The nice thing about this flat cart is I'll also be able to haul flowers around or anything else I want. The next thing is deciding how I want to set up my water barrel. Do I want it to go sideways, like so, and just strap it down, or straight up and down? Now I think straight up and down will be better because I'll have a taller column of water, which means more pressure on the spigot at the bottom. Let me show you what the spigot is going to look like. Okay, so what I've got here is a 3/4 inch ball valve, and I've also got some 3/4 inch threaded male connectors. This will also fit a garden hose. And what I'm looking at doing here is connecting here and then threading this inside the barrel down low. And then I've also got, I may cut the top of the barrel off. I can't open the top lid. Put this on the back side as a backer to secure it. And then I'll have another one on the other side here that the garden hose will attach to. And I can control off and on right here. And then at the end of the hose, I could have a little sprinkler head or whatever in order to get it done. But that's the idea. And I'm going to strap this down with a ratchet strap. But basically, another way to look at this, it'll be here kind of like this. Like so, with this on the back side, maybe if necessary, just to keep this from pulling away. Now I'm going to wrap all of my threads in Teflon tape. And there's a certain way you want to do Teflon. Whichever way you're screwing it in, you want the tape to flow opposite. That way as you screw it in, it's not going to bunch up and it'll go with the flow. So since I'm going to screw it in righty-tighty, I'm going to go to the left with the tape. Now I'm going to start these with my fingers so that they don't cross thread. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to double a cloth over because we really don't want these threads to mess up. Matter of fact, I've gone ahead and popped this in the vice grip so that I'll know she's good and secure. We'll double that over right there. We're just going to righty-tighty it a bit and make sure those threads are secure. There we go. No leaks. We don't want any leaks. There we go. Okay, now that we've got this assembly all tightened up and sealed up, our next step is going to be to make the hole right here at the base where we can screw this in at. I'm going to hold off on cutting this top off. We're going to see how secure it becomes once I put it in there. If I have to, I'll cut the top off and get in there and put that backer behind it. To do this, I'm going to use a 5/16 spade boring bit. When you use one of these on plastic, go very, very slowly, especially the thinner it is. Just little pulses is all it needs. I decided to put it on its side. It'll be a little more sturdy like this. Nice and level, nice and slow. It'll start carving it out real quick there. There we go. We got our hole. Yeah, that's going to do just nicely. That 5/16 for the 3/4 inch gives me just enough clearance to get the thread started, and the threads are much bigger. And this 3/4 inch double end male actually gets a little wider as you go, so the tighter I get it, the more it's going to expand into the hole. So that should work out pretty good. Now I'm going to go ahead and put some plumber's tape on this end for threading in, just to give it a good seal as it goes in. And you know, even if you don't want to make a compost tea truck to haul your compost tea around to your garden in, if you wanted to make a big compost tea barrel, you'd use this exact same procedure for putting the spigot in on your barrel, maybe off of your rain gutter like I've got, or just a standalone one for brewing compost tea. All right, we've got that. Now we're going to start the threads here. Oh yeah, that's perfect. Perfect. Nice and tight too. Well, I got to tell you, that's pretty doggone secure there. I don't think that's going to pull out at all. The beauty of this setup is I can just pop this off, fill up my compost tea, and have about 50 gallons or so. Let's see how much threading we got, if it'll show it here. Oh yeah. Yeah, it's good and secure. Yeah, I think I'm going to go ahead and try it without the backer piece, because that is really secure. Even if the hose were to pull on it, she's not going anywhere. Like that. I'm going to seal that off now, and we'll do a water test. Now the only other thing that has been in here is compost tea, but I'm going to go ahead and take some dish soap, put in here, and kind of wash it out, clean it up real good. Now we'll water test it. We'll see how she does. This is going to be so dandy. 1 gallon at a time was killing us over there. Yeah, this is going to be great. No leaks there. Excellent. This is going to work. Now, if you decide to do this, let me show you something very important with regard to the flow. You got to have an air source open at the top. I've sealed both of these off, and you see what the pressure's like there, or the flow rate. Now watch this. As I open this up, I can hear air going in, and that flow rate jumps way up. See that? So when you go to water with one of these, just take one of your top caps off and leave it open. All right, now that we've got the water test done, I'm just going to scrub this bad boy down, try to make her a little more presentable. All right, now then, my next step is to secure this bad boy, and we're going to do that with some of these ratchet straps. Well, now that just looks like a fine moment in redneck engineering. Now I'm going to hook up the water hose and figure out a way to hang it. Mrs. Reagan and I picked these up a couple of weeks ago. We've been using them for our hanging baskets from the greenhouse frame, but I think I can use one of these as a hose hanger. Well, let's see how it works here. Yeah, I think that'll get it done. Pardon the air conditioner running, but in order to help with tea barrel flow, I actually took 2 sets of cinder blocks and crisscrossed them, and I set my compost tea back up here. And so the hope is that we'll give it better pressure. It's going to come down the line, speed up, but then I got to get it back up to here. It's one of the reasons I kind of wanted to set this thing on its side and build it that way, but Mrs. Reaganite was convinced that a higher water column here would lead to better pressure down there. I agree. It's just going to be a matter of getting it out of here. And if I have to, I'll go get a couple more cinder blocks and raise it up a little higher, and that should take care of it. Ladies and gentlemen, we have compost tea. Yeah, baby. I believe this is going to work. Oh yeah. Yeah. A lot easier than 1 gallon at a time. Guys, this is Reaganite 71. Thank you so much for joining me today. It's about 103 right now, and the lawnmowers are going on next door, so we're going to call it a day, and I'm going to head inside for the air conditioning. This is going to work, though. My very own compost tea truck. Guys, I appreciate you watching, and thanks for subscribing. Have a good summer, and try to stay cool.
Red and juicy, fresh and fluffy. I'm both a veggie and a fruit. I taste good when I cook. You can also eat me raw.
The actual Drunken composting formula is extremely simple. All it involves is using a can of beer, a can of Coke, and 8 ounces. Once we've got our grass down, we're going to give the entire layer a good spray. You don't have to get it super soggy, just spray it in. That moisture is going to help the pile as well. But it's got all the good stuff in here